There's a fellow that sends me a text message at the rate of about once a week in the past few months. His kids in school are getting these questions. They're getting these cards and these questions. Why was there menorah at the entrance of the Heichel? So I thought this was an easy question. I thought, well, wait a minute. Does it make sense? There was no menorah at the entrance of the Heichel. The menorah stood, and towards the menorah stood the shulchan, and they were more in the outside part of the Heichel as the mizbeach, but there was no menorah. But the health Eibishter, you could be a going nuts with a computer, and I knew there's something in it. Obviously, this question: where menorah? So there's a. No, I don't have Google. Without Google, you can find without Google. I don't know what Google.
Just about. It's not Mr.
Oh, it's Yochanan knows.
Well, it depends if Jews he's Rabbi.
So you want
A few key words. I got there. The Gemara says in Sukkah. Look here. Mumbaz hamelech hoya oisa kol yudois hakelim shel yom hakippurim shel zav. Mumbaz was a king, and he was wealthy, so he decided he wants to donate to the Beis HaMikdash that all the Yodois HaKelim Shel Yom HaKippurim shall be Shel Zav. It's an expensive thing. Heleni Imoy, he has a mother, Helen. Also Nivreshet, which Rashi says Menorah Shel Zahav Al Pesach HaHeichel. She gave a donation to the Beis HaMikdash, a Menorah Shel Zahav, and they hung it up on the Pesach HaHeichel. Very aguta. Very aguta. Say that Adoidus, she was a Giyoidus. She was a king. There was a kingdom of Modai, which is somewhere today in Armenia. And the Seder Adoidus tells incredible stories. That some of them are brought in Chazal. The Gemara in Sukkah says in the beginning of Sukkah, she had a Sukkah. She lived in Lut. She had 7 sons. She was her 2 sons were kings. One was a king, then the next one was kings. And her and her son was did a bris. Then the country, Mumbaz, and incredible story. Just that she was buried. It was Mumbaz learned with they were the Magaya together. She was a big tzaddikus, so she came to live in Yerushalayim for several years.
This is Helena Hamalka?
Yeah.
Oh, Helena or Helena?
Heleni, it's spelled a little different here and there. No. There's a Mumbaz that is a son of Agrippas. There's several Helens. She does not fit in with any of the Hashmonai family at all. She had no connection to them. Helen? She was a queen in the different kingdom, nothing to do with Israel. She was a queen in a country called Adbana. Is today Armenia. And which is interesting because
Not a genocide.
Right. Turkey, it has interesting connection to today, what's going on today. Turkey is trying to position itself as a chief Sunni Israel today. But Israel was recently considering, as recently as today, that they should finally recognize, the Armenians want that the world should recognize their genocide. They had an incredible genocide that was perpetrated by the... and they want the world to recognize it, but the world doesn't want to recognize it for some reason. But now this guy is preaching about Israel. I mean, what they did to these people. These people are the people in Armenia are not past this. It's like Rahman al-Islam by us, the Holocaust. If you go, wherever you go, if you meet Armenian people, they're living it as if this happened today.
Even in the United States.
wherever you meet
They
them.
never got validated. Of course they
We had a shiksta that we had to let her go because she was so. Her phone, there were pictures, the gruesome pictures, unbelievable.
They have a protest station right next to the police station in the old city. When you go to the right of the traffic gate in the Armenian quarter, they have a whole wall dedicated to.
There's a
They don't have
proposal
graphic pictures.
in the Knesset. There's a proposal.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Recognize it.
So Helene, the queen, her kingdom was basically Armenia. So she was a big tzaddikus, and the Gemara says all kinds of stories that she was about the time of Hillel, of the Tana Hillel and Shammai. And the Chachamim, the Gemara says in the beginning of Sukkah, the Chachamim came to visit her in her Sukkah. The Gemara says it was a time when there was a famine in Israel. Her son took all the treasures that he had from all the generations in his kingdom, and he got these big boats, and he brought wheat to Israel, and he gave it out free of charge. And the people in his country said, "You're crazy. You're spending all the wealth of our country." So he said, "Avoisai otzru lamata vani oitzer lamayla." They put treasures down here in this world, but I'm spending this money. I'm investing really in a oitzer in heaven, which is the schus. In other words, the feed Klal Yisrael. So Bekitza, the Mefarshim say that there's a minhag, a lot of shuls that they have a menorah hanging in front of the Aron Kodesh. Where does this come from? Always people, right? It's called a Ner Tomid. And so the Mefarshim that say it comes from Lezecher, that in the Heichel, when Helene the queen gave a menorah, what the Orich says it wasn't a menorah, and the Vreshet was a candle, one, and they hung it up.
Today they call it a light of menorah.
Right, in the modern Hebrew. So that's why we have a Ner Tamid hanging, just like the doors of the Aron Kodesh represent the doors of the Eichel. So we hang. Some shult have the minhag to hang up a Ner Tamid Lezecher, this special thing that Helene the queen gave, that and Chazal decided to hang it up at the door of the Heichel. Rashi says Nevreshet is menorah, and Oruch says Nevreshet is Ner Echad. I don't know, in today's Hebrew,
Nevreshet is chandelier.
chandelier. Today they call Nevreshet chandelier.
How do you say a brush in Hebrew? Not brush? Not Nevreshet? It's from the same shop.
Okay, this is the pasuk. Next pasuk. L'chol ha'madaber b'ay.
Spare sheet. Spare sheet.
Yes.
Here, two.
Thank you. Well, how many?
Next, there's the pasuk that the Eibusha talks about in this week's Parsha about the Nevi'im. He says, "B'chol ha'madaber b'ay, I will speak to him in a dream." A woman that was davening in Beis Menachem Mendel for many years. She was a Geyoidis. Very, very special woman. She moved recently to Eretz Yisrael because her daughter went to Eretz Yisrael. She was in the IDF, and then she has only one daughter. And
She's in medical school.
in medical school now?
What's your name?
The black girl from upstairs.
Carter?
No.
Hadassah?
Hadassah.
Hadassah.
Very special woman. She was at
Very
Tzidkonis.
smart.
She's at Tzidkonis. Worked very hard. She worked in a clinic for sleep apnea.
Wow.
So, someone's trying to, some. But she has one daughter, and she's in Israel, so she decided to make Aliyah. Very, very special woman. And the women decided to make for her, Shabbos we have a shir before Mincha, so the women brought cakes and things. They made a Suda for her. After the Suda, she asked me, she wanted to talk to me. She said that the Rebbe came to her in a dream, and the Rebbe said that since she's moving to Eretz Yisrael, she has to do something special with her time, and the Rebbe wants her to dedicate herself to take care of orphans. So her double question was, what do I think about it? And number two, how does she do it? So it's a valid question. can't ask people what questions to ask. It's a valid question. So, there's a very interesting Sheilos Atshuvas about this. So let's look at a few of the main Gemaras that come up in the Sheilos Atshuvas on this. The Gemara in Sanhedrin says, the person dies, and his son is mitzvah because he knows his father had a barrel full of gold, full of coins, and he doesn't know where it is. Papa shows up in dream. He says, "Listen, sonny, go up in the attic. Kach v'kach, over there you'll find a barrel, but you should know it's Mos Ma'aser Sheni. So you have to take all that money, go to Yerushalayim. You live in Yerushalayim. You get free lunch, breakfast, and supper. But that's it. You can't buy a house. You can't buy a car.
What if he shares it with a car?
He can share whatever he wants, but he can't. He can only buy food. He can't buy a house with it. It's not that valuable.
Buy food and barter it.
No. No. Only food. You can give it to other people. Ma'aser Sheni you can give to other people. You can share, but you can't.
Give it to a coin and sell the food and give me a house.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Even if you were allowed to do that, you lose a big value of your thing because we know Chazal tell us that the things that were ma'aseres and trumas in the market have very lower value. Very much a lower value.
Prescribe what you can do.
No, yeah, you can eat only in the chaymes and only in the kedusha and only this and only that. It had a very much a lower value. A very lower value. So this guy didn't know what to do. He came to the base medrash. Chazal said, "Divrei chaloimes loy malim v'loy meridin." You keep the money and just do whatever you want with the money. Right, L'chayda, it's like the strongest Gemara. The guy obviously dream meant something.
Yeah.
Chazal said, forget it. Take the money, do whatever you want.
I just read an article about Bitcoin. The guy lost $50 million or $60 million in Bitcoins.
Ooh.
And they showed a whole thing of chest of gold to show that you turned out chest of gold. You saw it last night. Because he couldn't get his password.
He lost it.
He lost his password.
He lost the USB with all the
$60 million in Bitcoins. He doesn't know. He can never get it back.
Because he can't remember his password?
No, what happened is you have two USBs.
Lost his
one blank and one with all the passwords. And he threw out the wrong one.
Threw out the USB.
It's
Well,
50,
that shows you how secure it
50
is.
character code because 50 character code. Bitcoin itself generates the passcode. It's not something like you create.
You can't do it on your own.
Oh.
It's like a 50 to 70 character type of code.
It's very hard.
And he threw out the wrong one.
And he's a real yokel because he could have just put it down on any wall.
I hope he doesn't kill himself.
When Hashem wants that you don't go near it, no matter what.
Nothing to say.
Wow.
No one's going to come to him and Chaloi will tell him which dump it's in.
Who knows?
One of the first 5 people to mine Bitcoin.
Wow.
7,500
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
they mine the guy.
The garbage man came back.
7,500 Bitcoin. $60 million.
Maybe you should go into Parsha.
Oh, let's continue.
There's no guilt. There's no rules. Do they hate him?
By the way, the girl calling her.
Yeah, they do, right?
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency.
She's doing well.
So, on the other hand, the Gemara in the Dorim says a story like this. A person has a dream and they tell him he's in Nidui. When he wakes up, he has to find 10 people to be mater the Nidui. There has to be 10 people that learn halachas. Loi, if they're learning, not learning, no. They have to be Talmid Chachamim. Vilek the Tana Hilchas he can't find. Afila masna v'loi masna. Vilek if you can't find even people that learn a little bit. Leizel v'leisav aparashos drachim. You should stand on the fork of the road. V'yov shlom l'be'yud. You say shalom aleichem to 10 people until he gathers 10 Jews. Ad the mikla le'atzora. The Gomer Hilchas said at least they know halachas. And they should be mater the nidui. Omar lo Ravina Rabashi. Yoda man shamte. Mao the Lishrele, if he knows in his dream where the Shamta comes from, Amarle doesn't matter. So he could be mated through 10 people. How about if he sees in his dream that they undid the Shamta? There's an expression in the Novi. Yirmiyahu says that Mal Teven Sabor. That when the Eibusha speaks, it's Dvar Hashem. When the Eibusha talks to the Novi, there's no dirt in it. But when the Novi Abal, it's like, it's a whole bunch. There's Teven and Bar mixed together. Bar is the food, and Teven is in the farms. They had in the wheat. They got the straw got mixed in. In other words, the Rambam says, and you say that Torah, a guy says things. It's like fortune cookies. Good things are happening. So a couple of good things happen, but it doesn't. This is not a nevuah. The only way I know it's a nevuah is that everything comes true. Because if some things happen and some things don't happen, then there's Teven and Bar. And the Gemara says you have to be choshish for half of the dream, and therefore you have to do hatoras an nidui, because could be the nidui was true, and could be the hator of the nidui was not true. Because some dvar metel. He doesn't know. The Baal HaChaloimus. So here in the Gemara we see the opposite. The Gemara is choshish, and also in the Gemara Babashra, for example. And there's many more Gemaras. I'm bringing here 3 Gemaras. Dorish, Rabbi Huda, Rabbi Shalom, Kshem Shem, Zoyis Shalom, Shalom, Rashana, Kachas, Nois Shalom, Shalom, Rosh Hashanah. From Rosh Hashanah they decide how much he's going to make and how much he's going to lose. Zocha haroi proisler of lachmecha loy zocha vanim rudim tove boyes. If he's zocha, he's smart, and he gives his food at tzedakah. He gives from his money to he's going to lose it anyway. But if he gave it to tzedakah, he has a schus. If not, aniv merudim tove boyes. Kadev neachzad Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. That Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai saw that his sister's sons, his nephews and nieces, are going to lose a lot of money that year. They're going to lose 700 dinner. Asinu, the whole year, he was maaseh them for tzedakah. In other words, he was nudging them to give tzedakah. They said they gave him 50 dinner. He came back next week. Come on, I have another project. They said, we gave you. They said, no. Asinu means like maaseh al tzedakah. He was like, he made them crazy to give him tzedakah. Shokim inay tzedakah. He took from them a lot of tzedakah. Push Gabayu Shivsa Dinri, 17 dinrim short. In other words, throughout the year, he managed to collect from them 700 dinrim minus 17. Kimota Maila the Yom Kippurim, when it came Erev Yom Kippur, which could mean Rosh Hashanah. Erev Yom Kippur sometimes means Rosh Hashanah. Shardabei Keser, that came from the house of the Keser, and they said, "Oh, you owe us taxes. Whoa, back taxes." It came from the IRS. Naktino, and they took 700 dinner from the family. Amrul Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said to his family, to the nieces and nephews, "Loi tachdelun, don't be scared, don't worry. Shivsa dini gabaychu, I only need to get 17 dinrim, and everything will be good. Shaklinu minchu, I'm going to take from you. Amrulay menoyadat. How do you know if we give you 17 dinrim?" That's it. He said he came to their house. He said, "Give me 17 dinner. Everything is going to be good."
He didn't know who he was.
But they said, he knocks on the door. He says, "Give me 17 dinner. It'll be good." So they said, "How do you know it's going to be good?"
No, not they didn't know him. We didn't know how they know what he's saying.
He's saying if the Rebbe knocks on your door,
He's been asking them all year. Right?
Unfortunately, family doesn't make good chassidim.
He was knocking the whole year. They took say feet like he's maybe something's going on here.
He's saying that you used to Rebbe
No, I weiß this mishpacha. There's always this problem with mishpacha.
They were mishpacha.
Yeah. Amrlu v'amayla. So Amrlu, he told them, "Chalmoi chazoi, I saw a dream." Amrlu, so they said, "V'amayla amratlon. Why didn't you tell us? We would give the nesvinu, bekovet govedel. We would give it to you in one shot. All year you're nudging us for tzedakah." Amrlahu, he said, "Aminu." I said, "Kehechel ta'ava mitzvah l'shma." I want you to do the mitzvah l'shma. If I came to you on some gedalia and I said, "Listen, I had a dream. Give me 700 dinrim. You're good." That's not a mitzvah. So therefore, I nudged you for tzedakah. And but now, okay. So and they gave him the money. The kakava that. A miraculous thing happened that from the house of the case that they sent, we made a mistake, which is, the Rebbe says a story with the Rogatchover, that the Rogatchover once got a letter that he didn't pay enough taxes. Then there was three things of taxes that he didn't pay. So that was under communism. So he told it was some shpocha member. He said that one of the taxes is true, he forgot to pay, but the other two is nicht gehalten al pitoyre. It's not a kosher tax, so he's not going to pay it. So he sent them money for one of the taxes, and he didn't for the other two. He got a letter a short time later. We apologize. It was a mistake. So the Rebbe said, like you see the Koyach HaTorah, he said that one tax was justified, it was a legitimate tax, so he's mechuyev to pay din de malchusa. The other two, he figured out that al pi din, that it's not a legitimate tax. So taka, even the goyim realized that taka was a mistake. So usually, it's an unusual thing that the IRS says, "Oh, we made a mistake, and here, take back the money." That's what happened.
It doesn't happen in America.
That's why it's a miracle when it happens.
Actually, if you overpay, they'll give you back the money.
You sure they do?
Maybe.
Yeah, but going to war with the IRS.
But I
Not
guess
only that, they even keep it for generations. The United States government has billions and billions and billions of dollars unclaimed. If you override the money, I mean, Verizon owes you money, then you close your account and you don't know, they know. And they hold it for you. I have a struggle who works with it. He recovers for people millions of dollars every year. No, billions and billions of dollars.
Verizon
If you have a Verizon, right? Let's say you
overpaid.
and then you close your account, and sometimes they'll give you a check, but first they tell you that you have money, you should call up. If not, they'll keep it. And they're not allowed to put it in their bank. They have to hold it for you. If you have a bomb, someone passes away, and there's no heirs, and there's no one to claim it, the bank is not allowed to keep it. The government's not allowed to keep it. It's not theirs. So they have unclaimed asset accounts, and they sit there, and they gain interest, but they're not allowed to use it. It's not theirs. And the people look up lost assets, and they contact the heirs of assets, bonds. People have stocks and bonds that they don't even realize that they own. They lose it. They have 3 or 4 shares of something that's now worth millions of dollars because they compounded and split. AT&T shares has split over the last 50 years 100 times. So they have thousands of shares.
There's a yid
But
who
they don't even know they own it. And people go, if they find out, and they do, and they have to make contracts. It can take 2 or 3 years, but eventually they get a check, and they split it with the they get a cut.
I met someone a few weeks ago who makes his living. He makes millions of dollars a year doing exactly this.
You see, my son-in-law's mother lives in Florida.
He lives in an incredible house
from the Social
in
Security.
Connecticut,
They made
and
mistake.
he's the son of
$13,000.
a guy who comes
She
here.
took my son-in-law and my daughter
Visits
to
us.
Israel.
Yeah, it's very nice.
You know what?
Very nice.
That's exactly how he makes his living.
There's enough
He didn't know nothing.
thousands of people to do it. Thousands of people get involved. They have billions and billions of dollars.
I told you.
Okay, so anyone that's looking for a parnasa here.
Yeah. Big money, big money.
Hashem orchestrated the war.
The Tashbitz was one of the last the Talmidei Chachamim that lived in the island of Mallorca, which is Spain. They got chased out of there. This was 100 years before the rest of the Jews in the rest of Spain. He was the Talmud of the Rivosh. So he has a tshuva where he talks about dreams. A whole thing, he says that the Maideba once made a Tainus Cholam for the community 3 days, Sheni, Chamishi, Sheni, and then it turned out that guy, there was a guy that said he had a dream that we have to fast. Then it turned out that guy, it's like Gishmat. It's unbelievable. It's like what happened was that there were Jews that couldn't withstand the temptation. Well, not Stam Jews. There were Jews that were leaders, that were big people. I mean, the Barbanel had a friend, Rabbi Avram Senior, and Barbanel quotes him places. Rahman al-Islam, he was old and frail, and he said, "I'm just gonna." But Lapoil, it's like a shmata. There's nothing left from his family. No Jews left from his family. No position didn't bother him because he.
Senor?
Yeah. So why? Because it's not easy to leave your wealth behind, your house, your assets, and everything. And so he says he wants to be mavaded in this tshuva. What's the story with dreams? So he says in contradictory places. In some places in Chazal we say that dreams are very valuable. In other places we say dreams are nothing. We say, the Gemara in Bracha says, Rav Aram Iksiv Chaloim is Shav Yedaberu, Uksiv Becholam Adaber Bay, which is this week's Parsha. So the Gemara says, Loi Kasha, Kan Yedei Malach, Kan Yedei Sheidim. He says, what does that mean, Kan Yedei Malach, Kan Yedei Sheidim? So he explains that sometimes a person sleeps and he has a pure natural dream. And that's a reliable dream. Sometimes it's just, he ate too much and there's leichus, there's all kinds of gases that are coming, that are disturbing his head, and he's all tzamish. So sometimes it's a pure koyach hamadama, which is really a fragment of the seichel, and that seichel sometimes could connect with malachim. Sometimes there's questions on learning Torah, and then the malach comes and clarifies it, and he wakes up in the morning and he has an answer to his question. And sometimes it just, for whatever reason, it's a bilbul adas. So that's what the Gemara says in Brachas, Cholam Echad Meshishim B'Nevuah, and Neuvlis Nevuah Cholam. And the Gemedish Sheilos says, B'Shosh Adam Yoshin Afshe Emeris L'Malach U'Malach Emer L'Kruv. So there is something in dreams. So he has a few mahalchim, but this final mahalach he says like this. He says, and I'm quoting the main words of his tshuva, Yesh Chalaim es Tzoitkim Sheroi Lochish Lem. Yesh Chalaim es Bilti Tzoitkim She'ein Lochish Lahem. V'yaduahu ki b'chol davar shebemomen yesh lonu lahamed hamomen shenafal bo yasofek b'cheskosei. In other words, he said, because Chazal have a klal that money always goes b'cheskosei. So when this guy came along and he said a dream, his father told him where the money is. But he said that the money is Ma'aseh Sheni. So they said maybe half the dream was legit and the half was not. So therefore, the money has to stay b'cheskosei. And the chazak of money is that it belongs to him, and that's it. He doesn't have to do anything. He could use it. But when it comes to a nidui, which over there, it's not a money issue. The dream, they said that you can't talk to people, you can't bathe with people, you can't do business with people. So he has to be choishish. Maybe this was a shade. In other words, a shade means that it was just a bilbul, gases. Or it was really the koyach ha-seichel that's working in a funny way in the time of sleep, which is mixing with the malachim, which the malachim are also koyach ha-seichlim. And there's something in it. So therefore he has to be matich, the neder. So he has the formula of this, that you prepare for a person, and therefore he says, like when a community has a thing of dream, that they should fast. We find in Seches Tainis that if the Chachamim, which are the Einei Ha'eda, they had the dream, we find in Gemara Tainis several Tainiyas that Chazal made by the Chazal having a dream. So Memela, this brings us to a story. Why for Mammon? Because we don't know in the dream. We're always choishish that there's Teven and Bar. There's real stuff and there's phony stuff here. So Mammon, you always have to be Mammon al Cheskosei. It's money. Why should the chazak of money in my house is that it's kosher to money? Why should I say it's truma maestris? Therefore, this brings us to the story of the Rebbe Rashav, which I'm a story and told in Torah Sholem and Chanech Cholnar, that when the Rebbe Tzanivka said that she had a dream on Yud Kislev, and in a dream, her mother and her grandfather, the Mittel Rebbe, came to her dream, and they said that you're going to have a son. And their grandfather said, please don't forget about my name. That's why Sholem Doiv Ber, because Doiv Ber is for the Zayda, the Mittel Rebbe. And that was it. She woke up. And that day, she heard that her mother-in-law was sick. So she went to help her mother-in-law. When she was helping her mother-in-law's husband came in to visit her. Her mother-in-law's Rebbe Tzachai Mushke, her husband is Tzemach Tzedek. So the Rebbe Tzachai Mushke said to her husband, I had a dream last night. She didn't say what the dream was. So Tzedek right away says, the Gemara in Bracha says that there's two attitudes, it says in the Gemara. And one attitude is that dreams are garnished. And the other attitude is that dreams are very meaningful. But for sure, for a chayla, the Gemara says it's yofa, it's healthy when a chayla has a dream. And then he turned to his daughter-in-law and he said, but a good dream, you always have to be Mekayim. That was it, and he left. So she knew he knew that. So she said, I have to talk to my husband about it.
She didn't tell him what happened in that when he came?
No, the story was she didn't tell anyone about this. She didn't tell it to her husband.
Did she eventually tell him?
Oh, no, the event 10 days later, because she came home and she right away got busy with her daughter. She had an older daughter, Dvaraleya. No, the second dream. So then she forgot about what the Tzemach Tzedek told her, and like she got busy. Her daughter was sick. Her mother-in-law was sick. And the daughter said she was busy between her mother-in-law and her daughter, so she forgot about it. And Yutas Kislev, she had a second dream. And now there was another person that came that she didn't recognize. It turned out it was the Alter Rebbe. And the Mittler Rebbe.
She told it to the Tzemach.
And no, but happened was the Mittler Rebbe said to the older one, which was the Alter Rebbe, give her a bracha. He gave her a bracha that this son will be a very good son. And she said, Amen. And the Rebbe Marash was in the bedroom, and he was and he heard the Amen. He said, why you say Amen? So she said, I can't tell you now. I'm going to come tell you later. So she washed Negovas and she made the Hachonas in order to tell him the dream. And she came to his room and she told him the dreams. He said, how come you didn't tell me about it? It's like these type of dreams. These types of dreams are not. These are very important things. So he told her that he wants to. I missed a very important part of the dream. In the dream, they told her to write a Sefer Torah. And the schus of writing the Sefer Torah, she will have a son. So the Rebbe Marash said that it came from the dream that we're going to write not Stam Sefer Torah, but we're going to make sure that we get klaf from animals that were shechted and that were kosher animals.
It was a hard thing.
Which was apparently a hard thing. It took them time, and they got enough yediyas, and they wrote the Sefer Torah. It took them some time to write the Sefer Torah, and but she became pregnant immediately because the Siyum Sefer Torah was right after Yom Kippur, the next following year, and a very short time later, Chof Cheshvan, she had the baby, which was the Rebbe Maharash. I'm sorry, the Rebbe Rashab. The Rebbe Rashab.
What's her first name?
Rebbe Tzarifka.
She was like the six of the Bob to Rabbi.
Yeah.
But she kind of broke
It's unbelievable. Yeah, because in the dream she saw the Middle Rebbe and the
No,
Alter
but
Rebbe.
she saw the Middle Rebbe. She knew that
it was her father-in-law.
and the Middle Rebbe she knew.
And the Middle Rebbe she knew.
Right.
So she mama saw the Ayin 5 and she's in the Cholim 6. I don't even know. Wow. There was a chassid also that saw 6.
Yeah, they said there was one of the chains.
She got a broke for the She didn't eat before davening.
Right.
That's why we eat before davening.
Yeah.
She was the one.
Because of Rebbe Tzarifka, we eat before davening. Right.
That's why we have the kegel
Right.
in the kitchen.
Exactly. So we see a Ma'aser
At
Rav.
least we have a steak to the Islamach.
Right.
She's not buried in this oil, right? She's not by the oil. She's in Russia.
Where is Rebbetzin Rivka? Lubavitch, probably.
Lubavitch?
They discovered her. I think it was her caver that they discovered recently.
Okay.
Beis Menachem Mendel should take a trip.
And where?
I think but they discovered a few Rebbetzin a few years ago, and I think she might be one of
But
them.
I was in Lubavitch a few years ago.
There's the oil, and outside they discovered a few Rebbetzins.
That's
I think she's one of them. Yeah.
One is to the
Where
left,
is
the
it?
other is to the right chick.
In Lubavitch? Is this in Lubavitch?
In Lubavitch, yeah.
Right next to each other.
Yeah, maybe Beis Menachem Mendel should take it before we see Russia is becoming more and more crazy. We might not allow Americans to even come in there. It'll be like the old days.
2024 is now running again.
Well, now we have to go in as tourists, but not. They're going to follow us.
They were always following.
Let them follow us to the base of Chayim. Stay there.
We start with the Armenian in the beginning. So the Turkish said, how Israel said that they had the Shoah. They're getting more trouble when they're saying the Armenian is Shoah.
You know?
You didn't hear that?
No,
This is what he said at one, whatever his name.
doesn't make sense what this guy says.
No, but he's going to, now they have election and look like he's going out the drain.
Yeah.
Look like, yeah.
So if we have a dream, are we supposed to talk about it or not supposed to?
Oh,
Good or bad?
so bottom line. Oh, and one more thing before we continue.
Good sounds like
Before the Or Zerua brings a story that Rabbeinu Ephraim, which is a Balei HaTosfos, there was a famous debate in Europe about a fish called balbuta. So,
Sound like African name.
abulka. There was a story with a fish, and Rabbeinu Ephraim got up and he announced with Rabbeinu Tam, others, he said that's kosher. That night, he's in his dream, he saw they brought him a plate full of maggots. They told him to eat it. So he got angry, he started screaming, what, the streif? They said, so? You told everyone to eat the fish. He woke up and he broke all the plates and the pots that they cooked in his house, the fish, because he was matir that the previous day. And he announced that the fish is treif. So it takes the Noid of Yehuda to, so yeah, the help the Ebish to Noid of Yehuda, like, you know, the Noid of Yehuda, the good Misnaga that Noid of Yehuda is. He says in the Tshuva, Rabbeinu Ephraim, he was a big chassid. If Rabbeinu Ephraim, they would bring him a fish, and he would see mamish the kaskasim because it was a shayla fell off, and he would say that the dream means nothing. And anyway, why didn't the Baal HaChalaimis come to all the Baal HaToisvus? Chalaimis is shav yidaberu, like the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, with the guy with the money in his attic, and the Ramah Paskins that way in Yeregei and Simmeration and Tess. Divrei Chalaimis le'maylam v'loy maridin. But anyway, we have the Tashbitz who doesn't think that way. He says that was a story of Mominus. Therefore, Lamaisa, we know from the story of the Rebbe Rashab. The Rebbe Rashab was born in the schus of his mother keeping what was told to her, instructions in a dream. When the Tzemach Tzedek told her, but a good dream for sure you have to keep. So B'meila, I told Adas it's a good idea to keep the dream, and I spoke to Shmuley Lewis and his organization, probably one of the oldest charities in Israel, maybe the oldest, Kol Chabad. And Kol Chabad. So I connected her. Yeah, I connected her with Reb Shloima Martin of Kol Chabad. I actually spoke to her recently, and Dave should tell her she'll be matzliach.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have to. You know, she can go to the Koisel every day and daven mincha, and also go with the Pushka. Tell everybody that I have a special hero from the Great Tzaddik, and it's gonna be
whatever the Kol Chabad will give her.
You have to go for your thing.
Yeah, for orphans.
Right.
Kol Chabad has plenty of projects. They'll find something for her.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what they say.
Listen, they have tremendous budget.
My Baba used to collect for Chabad.
Oh yeah?
He used to go around in Poverivka, my Gamsburg in Milan.
Yeah.
Go around collecting money.
But you know what? They're
That's
great.
what I'm
Their
saying.
Pushka project, Ada Yamazeh.
Yeah,
I get they text every few months. They say someone could come tomorrow, and it's good. You know, I take all the Pushkas and I open them up and I put them in a big bag.
It's a big sum.
And they someday afterwards sometimes they send a receipt. It ends up being a nice amount of money.
100%.
They're on top of it. They're good.
So I'm saying that you could suggest her if you. I'm not saying.
Again, I already did my part. Connect her to Rabbi Martin. Again,
She may not find out. She may because this might be the best thing. You know how much Abe Stein raises for the Lubavitch Yeshiva with his pushkas? I call him up sometimes. Say, Abe, come on, things are overflowing now for a week. You got to get to your pushka. She could give all the departments in Israel.
She's done.
Chabad.
She's connected to Kol Chabad.
It's the first Rabbeinu Raneh Balnes Daka.
Yossi, I give you a number. Call her and such.
I know, but you already have it, so do it faster if you call.
Because it came from you, so
I know, but I don't know, right? Unfortunately, no one ever
you
introduced
have
us.
to know. It's a mitzvah. You have to know.
No, but it's,
Mitzvah.
yes, it comes back. It comes more from the heart. You know, you
She
already have a
she
gesture.
davened there for many years. She's so tzanua, no one ever knew
No one
her.
ever knows.
She was very quiet. She came to all the shiurim. She
Wow.
came. She went.
You
No
have
one
to
ever
see
knew
how
her.
she sit on the table. She came to Ibn. Quietly.
Yeah, very.
And she has such a midah.
Yeah.
She never jump and speak.
I tell her someone is going to be in the Nadev all our pushki.
I know who it is.
Whatever. That'll start her off.
Start her off.
I will call her.
Because it's, you know, and also since she's Yerush, she has a certain siyata d'shmaya. I'm being serious. Like Hashem is her parents, so she's got to go with a big siyata d'shmaya.
Bezrat Hashem.
And then she doesn't have to ask for money. It's hard to ask for money. You just say,
Can I call her
please,
this week?
here's your pushka, and I have the zero. She'll make millions.
Who said it says that she has to fundraise for
Kale no de fun Allah.
You say, maybe
Let's
you have
go, let's
a
go.
for your same, that she can help
Kale no de fun Allah. It says in the pasuk Kale no. So we started off with the first pasuk in the Parsha, and let's finish off with come out the last pasuk in the Parsha. Kale no de fun Allah. The question people always ask about the medicine. So Dafka this week we were talking about shahakal and brachas. You make a medicine. I don't want to repeat. If you want to come with Hashem to Shir Wednesday night, we'll continue about the. Just the Sheilos, people ask, is there any special bracha to say when you take a medicine? It's very short time before my Zayda passed away. So my Zayda asked me to bring him a medicine. So I brought him the medicine, and right before he took the medicine, he says, "Yehi rotzen milfanecha, she'esek zeli l'refuah." So Gemara Bam, the Gemara says it in brachas. It's brought in Shulchan Aruch. So I said, but I've never seen in my life anyone do such a thing when they take a medicine. But it was always a pellet to me because it's a Gemara Mefureshes, and it's a din brought in Shulchan Aruch in Siman Reish Lamed Zivav that when you take a medicine, you're supposed to make a Yehirotzen. So my Zayda says, what are you talking about? My father always said when we were children, if we ever took a medicine, my father always said with us these words. So I asked my father, I said to my father, when you were a child, did Zaydi say with you this? He says, no. So it's funny, but when he remembered before he was nifter, from his father, and ever since.
Probably because he got separated from his father from a young child.
For sure. That he lost the minhag. Maybe, whatever, but not that. I don't know. But that's the Metzias. Maybe.
He didn't need medicine.
I'll tell you. So the Gemara says like this. Look quickly in the Gemara. Omer Bacha, Dichnas Lahak is dam, a person that goes for bloodletting. Omer Yerotum Fanecha Hashem Elokai, you say Hashem's name. Yerotum Fanecha Hashem Elokai, She'esek Zeli Lerefut, Pe'enu Ke'el, Roifenem and Atar Fos, Chemes Lafi Shein Dakem Ne Adam Lerefus, El Shenagu. The Gemara takes out a lot of words over here. Omer Abaya, Loi Leme Ina Shachid, Tani Revede Vishmo, Verapi Yerapa, Medkan Shenit, Nashus Larefa Lerapes. The last few words, El Shedarkim Ne Adam Lerapes, they shouldn't say, because the Abisha says, Verapi Yerapa, you have to go to a doctor. Kikoi, when he goes out, or the doctor, when they finish doing the bloodletting, Maiko Amar Bachma, Baruch Roifei Choylem. That's came pasuk b'Shulchan Aruch Siman Reish Lamed Siv Dalet. Hanichnas lahakes dam Omer Yerotum Afanech Hashem Alakai She'esek Zeli Lerefut Kerefei Chinam Ato. And lahachas she'ekes dam Yom Baruch Roifei Choylem. The Taz says b'Shem u'Malchus. You say Baruch Ato Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam Roifei Choylem. The Magen Avraham says Hu Adim B'Chol Minei Refuah Yom Hazeh. Every time you go to a doctor, every medicine you take. The minhag is that we don't say this bracha when you go out of the doctor's office, and some Mefarshim say because only by a kozas dam. I don't think that makes sense, because the Magen Avraham says for every refuah, for every medicine. Why is it doing the kozas dam? I think the pshat is very simple, because we don't know which doctor is a emes and which doctor is a quack. So the Bizman Hashaz, they had their medicine. Maybe you might think that bloodletting is a joke, but they knew that they knew it works.
Today too.
And some people do it today too, and they knew they had a mamasha umnis when and what. So before they knew this, before they started, they say Yerotzen, and when they finished, they said Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam Roifei Chinam. But Bizman Hazeh, there was at the dinner the Kinnos Shluchim, so Dr. Resnick. So Dr. Resnick's son, who was a shliach, said that once with some Torah, oh wow, your mama's leading us into the next thing in the thing. So the Dr. Resnick, he said to the Rebbe, Yisrael Duchman said, there's a Meshiganer.
No,
so
he said,
okay. Let me tell the story the way I heard it. So the Rebbe said, why? So the Rebbe said, you know him? So he said, yeah, I can give him by him. And the Rebbe said, so Nichem get shot $50. So the Rebbe said, so tell me who's the Meshuggah. That's what he said? Could be his son said it a little differently.
They wouldn't know what he's talking about. He said,
listen, sometimes the story grows up you.
That's the way he told it.
Blood run.
Yeah. So according to them, they should make by blood. You should make the bracha. I think not. I think the reason why we don't make the bracha is because we don't know Bizman Hazeh which doctor is the Meshuggah and who's not the Meshuggah. We don't know who's. So my Zayda always used to say the story. Dr. Zelikson, you can make the bracha. So my Zayda used to love to tell the story. There was I used to come to the Mashla Chveis. I used to sell the chametz. So he used to come to my Zayda. I used to bring him the shtar. Then he used to ask my Baba to bring the checkbook. So he always used to say the same joke. He said there was a couple that came to the doctor, to a psychologist. They sit down for a session, and she says, "I brought my husband. He's Meshuggah. He says, no, I brought my wife. She's the Meshuggah. So the doctor says, you know what? First, give me a check, pay me for the session, and then so the husband turns to his wife. He turns to his wife. He says, "Could you please pull out the checkbook?" She writes a check. She gives it to the doctor. He says, she holds the checkbook. Yes, they love to tell the story. No, because he's never dealt with the money. His wife always wrote the checks. So. Now, the Gemara said when you sneeze. So I push it. It's finding a needle in a haystack. You think you could be a gonotzum, but with the computer. But the problem is that I had this shaila in my mind, and I said today for the shir I'm going to get the answer. So I put on a few keywords. I got 36 hits. 36 svarim talk about this. Great. I went through every one of the 36 svarim. The last one had the answer. Wow. The last one had the answer. When people sneeze, they pull the ear and they say l'shas l'kavisi. And it always bothers me. What's this pulling of the ear? Because the Gemara doesn't say it.
Some do both ears.
Some one ear, the right ear.
I'm not sure which ear.
Tati, which ear? Oh, by the way, I want to tell you something. Ever since this thing with my Zayda, the kids sometimes they wake up in the middle of the night or something. They're never sick, and you give them what could you give them? You give them the baby Tylenol or something. But I'm telling you, there's something that works. I say with the kids, say with me, Yehi Rotzen. Tati, Tati, how do I say it? Tati, Tati, and they want to know what is it. I said that's a hirotzen that the Eibishter is going to give you a refuah shleima. I'm telling you, it works. I'm telling you, it really works better than the baby Tylenol.
Maybe it should be on the Tylenol.
Yeah.
Boduk menusa.
Conflict of interest.
It's boduk menusa. In the middle of the night when the kid is never crying and all like discombobulated, you say these words to the kid feels very good. I'm telling you, it works. Yeah. But I'm not,
Do you have the words here? In here?
Yes.
I'll put them down.
Yeah, it's right over here.
No, I'm giving you the number. The
Shulchan Aruch.
Bear laboratories.
It's just that.
No, beer.
One more thing. When a person sneezes, what do you do when a person sneezes? All kinds of things that people say. Last two paragraphs. The Gemara in Bracha says, "Lo yoyomrim merape bebeis hamedrash u'bnei beis hamedrash." The Gemara says that in the Beis Hamedrash they wouldn't say merape to a person that sneezed. The Rashi says, "Lo adam hamitzatish sheregilim lo mer asusa." They say asusa, which is like in Yiddish zugesund, to a person that sneezes in the Beis Hamedrash. So they didn't say that because of bittul Beis Hamedrash. And it's brought in Shulchan Aruch, and the Alter Rebbe brings in Hilchos Talmud Torah. The Magen Avraham says,
Why did I do the Beis Hamedrash?
why does it say bittul?
Why don't they just say bittul Torah? It's not bittul Beis Hamedrash.
So there are a lot of Mefarshim talk about this. Some say that it's only where it's a kavua, only in the Beis Hamedrash, not in the Beis HaKnesses. Magen Avraham says, Mishum mitzatish v'chaveiro yomer lo yatsusa, yomer lo boruch tia, v'achgach yomer l'sh'oscha kavisi Hashem. The mispal al chaveiro hu nenet chila. That's from the Yam Shel Shloima. So a person sneezes, so the friend says zugesund. The first thing you're supposed to say to the friend is boruch tia. Then you're supposed to say l'sh'oscha kavisi Hashem. So the Pirkei that Rebbe Elazar brought in the Rebbe Akiva Eger on the Gemara.
The one who sneezes or the one who says broken tea who says l'sh'oscha kavisi?
So in Lanius Daiti, it's not clear, and I see the people that bring this to the Rebbe Akiva Eger says that the friend says l'sh'oscha. I don't think so. I think the pshat is, if I sneeze and this guy said to me, then this guy says to me zugesund, I say boruch tia, and then I say l'sh'oscha kavisi Hashem.
But it says kol mevarach es chaveiro nenet chila. So the one who's nenet chila is the one who said gesund. Because he's nenet chila, so that's why he's saying shulav because it's an eight.
I hear what you say. One second. I just want to finish. The Kaf HaChaim says that we should, when you say l'sh'oscha kavisi Hashem, you shouldn't say Hashem's name. You shouldn't say Hashem's name. You should say l'sh'oscha kavisi Hashem. Why? Because you're in the middle of sneezing, and the Chassam Sofer says no, doesn't matter. Chassam Sofer says the same thing. He says sometimes a person sneezes in a place which is not noki. A person should be in the habit of saying l'sh'oscha kavisi Hashem, like the Kaf HaChaim says, not bli shem u'malchus. The Pirkei Rebbe Elazar says that when the Eibishter created the world, he made that when a person sneezes, his neshama goes out. Person would walk in the street, he would sneeze, he would fall on the ground, he would die. He said, it's not fair. When a person dies so suddenly, it's very painful. He can't talk to his family, he can't do anything. He said, Eibishter, please. And then it says, it was a Vayugad. Wow, never heard of such a thing. Usually people sneeze and they die. And Yaakov Avinu started a new thing. A person gets sick, and then he could be mitzav lebeisa, and then he could die. Lefikach the Pirkei the Rebbe says, Chayiv Odom loimer ba'atishasoi Chayim shenepach hamavas hazeh lo'oir shenemar atishasav tahel oir. So therefore, a person is chayiv to say Chayim. So I've never seen someone say Chayim, but this time I have 3 Sheilos in my mind. Who, and I see that later I found that the Torah Shleima, the Menachem Mendel Kasher, in Parshas Vayechi, he brings all the Maimori Chazal. So he brings this Maimori Chazal, Pirkei the Rebbe Vayugad Liyos Leme V'Merecha Choyla, and he brings Medrash Yilal B'Deinu Onasof Medrashim. Basically, in some places it sounds like the Chiyuv is the person who sneezes, he's chayiv to say something, Chayim, and other places it's mashma that the people around him are supposed to say. B'klal it's Akasha. What is this saying? Is you supposed to say Asusa, or you're supposed to say Chaim, you're supposed to say Lishuascha? And B'klal, another shayla, what is it? Is it Geder a Tefillah? It's Shevach Ve'edoah? Is it a Bracha? What is it? So I think everything is true, maybe. Yeah. There's a few Maimori Chazal, and everything is true.
Both people are the ones who should say this.
Both should say. It depends who is saying what. For the friend, when a person who sneezes, for him, it's a Shevach Ve'edoah. That's why it's Chayiv. It's a Shevach Ve'edoah. What I am saying, if I sneeze, I'm giving a Shevach Ve'edoah. What's the Shevach Ve'edoah? Because B'Brias Ha'olam, the Eibishter made, when a person sneezes, that's it. And when the Eibishter changed it, so even though my sneeze now is nothing, but I'm thanking, giving Shevach Ve'edoah from the Eibishter, because B'Brias Ha'olam, this could have been, that's it. This would have been. So the double thank to the Eibishter. You can say, Eibishter, Chaim, thank you for giving me my life. That's a Shevach Ve'edoah, me who gave the sneeze. The person that's out, that's around, they give a bracha to the person. They give a bracha. Maybe it's a bracha, maybe it's a tefillah. Because they give me a bracha, so they gave me a bracha, or maybe it's a tefillah. So it's a tefillah, so maybe it's both. It's a bracha and a tefillah. From them, it's a bracha and a tefillah. So therefore, they said a tefillah for me. They gave me a bracha. So therefore, I should say Baruch Tia, because I'm a spal ba'at chaveiroi. So therefore, I say, you gave me a bracha, you're going to have a bracha. Because it says, Vani avorachem, and we spoke about this a few weeks ago, it's last week's Parsha, that kol avorachem is barach, that if you give a bracha to Yid, you're going to get a bracha. So I say to my friend, you gave me a bracha, baruch tia, you're going to get a bracha. And I have to say that first. And then I have to have a chiyuv to say something to the Eibishter. The original thing in Pirkei the Rebbe was to say Chayim. But the minig now is to say L'shoscha Gevis Hashem. Probably it's Hainu Hach. To say Chaim, L'shoscha Gevis Hashem. What's the difference? I'm saying Fakert, L'shoscha Gevis Hashem is more an elaboration. I'm saying I'm mekave always to the Yeshua of the Eibishter, because the Eibishter runs the world. So I'm giving a Shevach Ve'edoah to saying by saying L'shoscha Gevis Hashem.
It says here, Mishum is Atesh Chaveru Oy Meloi Asuso. And Spencer says you can say, right, that's the Yamshel Shloima.
But
it's got to be the same person. He's talking about the same person because he's saying first say this and then say that.
Oimer Loi, the friend says Asusa. Yoimer Loi, the guy who sneezed, should say Baruch Tia. V'achkach Yoimer, who the same person who said Baruch Tia should say L'shos L'Kvis Hashem.
It's not in the words, but dying in the words.
Okay.
No. But I want to say one other thing. How did people here say Gesundheit? We're in the middle of both the mentioned.
They didn't know.
No,
they didn't.
I mean, everyone did.
Okay, so
it's this shear. It's this shear.
Right.
I feel bad when I sneeze seriously in the shear because I learned it when I was in shear long ago. So it's better to hold it in than be moved.
No.
Now it's good timing.
But on the other hand, like the shear is going to finish, so if the sneeze is just going to make the shear end 30 seconds later. So if you know that the shit's going to go anyway, maybe it's not a bad thing.
That's only a limit schools in basement Menachem Mendel.
Bless each other, so this is.
Then maybe we should all be sneezing.
It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's like when the Baal Shem Tov stopped the guy from learning, right? And he said, "How you doing?" So the snake said, "What are you?" He looked at him, "Are you nuts? I'm in the middle of learning." So then eventually he taught him that I want you to bench the Eibishter. Baal was teaching that, right?
Right.
Baal says, "How are you?" And he wanted him to say Baruch Hashem.
He wanted him to say Baruch Hashem.
He said, "You're Manei Bar."
The Eibishter.
On the Eibishter. So really, maybe if it's just a shear or something, maybe in the base measure, other people are learning, so that's not a good thing, like he said, because the other people will stop. But if you're in a shear that has a Zman Kavua,
and it's like based on Mendel that everyone's going to wait a few more minutes and wait to the end of the shear.
So then it's a good thing to sneeze out loud.
Okay.
What about I heard some people answering if somebody sneezes, "Sheyeh lecha refuah."
Right. It's the same thing like a Susa. It's the same thing.
Don't say thank you. Say Bruchim to you.
Reb Menashe, I just want to finish off. Reb Menashe Klein. Oh, Reb Menashe Klein has a tshuva. Reb Menashe Akoten, who happens to be a mishpacha with the Rebbe. I don't know how, but with mishpacha. It's interesting. He was very. Oh yeah. He's buried in Tzfas. You know that?
Very close.
Yeah, it was very close to the Rebbe. Chaim Chayusa, people, especially children, love to make latzonis in him because he used to say Menashe Akoten. So Akoten really means climb, but it was like it looked funny. He's buried in Tzfas. So he writes a tshuva. Baruch Hashem, I found this. I'm looking and looking. As I said, I found 32 hits in this. I narrowed it down. The Shos of Chatal Oyer put in the pasuk, I got 300 hits. When I got into this thing, I got 32. I looked through the last tshuva was Menashe Akoten. He says, "Oh, people don't go like this." He says it's darkei amoidi. It's also to do. He says a goyish shazach. It's not in the Pirkei de Rebbe Lezer. It's not in the Yam Shel Shloime. And not only that, I'll tell you, he's right, because in one of the Girsois in the Gemara,
people quote the Frierdiker Rebbe said to do it. I've heard of many different.
The Menashe Klein says that it's darkei amoidi, and he has a point because in one of the Girsois in the Pirkei de Rebbe Lezer, or in the Gemara, or maybe it's in the Bible, in the Yerushalmi, one of the Gisos is that in the Gemara, I'm sorry, it's in the Gemara Brachas. We have our Girsa, Bittul Beis Medrash. There was a Girsa, which the Bach and the Gro take out, that was said, Mipnei Darkei Ha'amoiri. So we see that there is even a Girsa that entertains saying that you're not allowed to do this whole, it's Darkei Ha'amoiri, this is hoodoo voodoo, what kind of mishagas is this? But now we know from the Pirkei de Rebbe Lezer that it's true, and it's a Sheilos Yaakov Avinu, and it's a Shevach Ve'idot to the Eibishter, maybe it's Admi, it's Ad Menachaveda, it's Ad Broch Utfila, and therefore it's a thing that you're allowed to say. But I think Menashe Klein, Zechron L'Baruch, has a point. There's nowhere in the Medrash, in the Bavli, in the Yerushalmi, in the Yalamdenu, all the sources that talk about this, no one says about pulling the ear. No one. I mean, I've went through every source.
What does pulling the ear represent?
Huh?
What does pulling the ear represent?
Darkei might have all kinds of funny things. So I don't know. As of now, I'm just telling you. I know.
That said that certain things Chazal weaned us off of hugging from the goyim, and they did like trees on shvuas, and the Gra held it's darkei amoid.
Right.
The Rebbe's father used to have trees on shvuas. There's a whole machlokes in the Rishonim whether really the reason why they gave certain things weren't aser was so that they should wean slowly off of when hugging of goyim. There was a whole share. I forgot.
That may make
very
sense.
tired when they heard. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, even if it is darkei amoid. Certain things Chazal allowed us to clean with, and so it could be that may be one of them.
I'm just telling you what
we turned it into brachas.
The kids used to laugh about the Mishnah Halachas or Mishana Halachas, but I'm telling you that he says, "Loimer asusa shul refuah shamanu aval mali meshichas ha'oizim ve'ein lasas ken kumedarkei hagoyim."
You know what's really funny? My mother-in-law was next door neighbors with Rabbi Menashe Akoten. He lived on Crown Street. My shreya lived at 700 Crown Street, and he must have been right next. I know he was right next to her. They were very close. My pedestal, my shwigger, and Rebbe's Klein was like this, and she was the biggest advocate of touching the ears.
By the way, these copies I make, if you want to take home with you Gesundheit and Freilich Heid, there'll be less shameless than based on Mendel. And if you want to chazer over the shir, you can chazer it over.
What if nobody's saying Asusa? You just by yourself alone.
My brother was
There's two things. There's what other people say and what you say. There's what you say and what they say.
And now I know no one likes herring Sunday morning. All right.
What about
one of them finished?
you were saying before about
This is also
someone has a
partial.
good dream or a bad dream?
Oh, yeah, that's someone had.
I heard this clip, but just ignore it. You're saying it could be good.
Who's
so what do you do?
bad
You run
dreams?
with it if it's a good dream, and if it's
Maybe you should talk to your mashpia about it and then see if the mashpia thinks it's a good dream.
and if it's a bad dream.
Go watch now.
Just ignore
No,
I'm gonna make it.
I'm not supposed to repeat it.
well, there is the Siddur of the Alter Rebbe. There is a Seder Atavas Chaloim. There is sometimes no.
Even a bad dream.
A bad dream, even if it's once. If a person has a dream, there's a concept of Tainas Chaloim, which is even once. Then that day, the Tashbet has an amazing thing. He says that every Limshal Bayom of Alayla, there's a certain koyach every day. And that's why even on Shabbos, if a person has a bad dream, he has to fast that day. Why? Because that day has a certain koyach. So mamish that day, a person should the minimum should tell this dream to someone, a friend, who's going to tell him it's a good dream. But if he can't,
They find a way to say it's good.
yeah. Or he should get 3 people and open the siddur and say there's what to say, and they tell him it's not a personal dharma. It's a different thing. It's not. It sounds like a personal dharma. So
Because of fears going on.
that day, that morning,
Tell it to me, and I should tell
tell her that it's a good dream, because a lot of the Gemara in Brachas has 4 pages of dreams, and some of them sound crazy. Avashi had a dream that he slept with his sister. They came to the base medrash. They said, "Atzarai, you're going to become the Rosh Hashiva." Emr l'chochma. They said in the pasuk it says, "Emr l'chochma choisiat." Say to Chochma that you're a choisi, my sister, and he became Rosh Hashiva. So sometimes
to what you're saying, you can't just make it into a good dream. No,
a person could always find
a way.
a way to say that it's good.
Positivity.
I'll always find a way it's good.
And then still, like, what level it has to be to make a kindness on Shabbos.
Well,
Regular day, even anything. Just to go
the
from
truth
that
is that the Rebbe was against Matainis from Cholim. The Rebbe's attitude was to ignore it and to be besimcha. But I think that even though the Rebbe said they should be besimcha and ignore it, there's nothing fakert. The Rebbe would, I think, ask him that this to say it's a good dream and that really has a good meaning to it. Yeah. Say it's a good dream. Very good.
That's very helpful.
Yeah. Especially some kids have dreams. It's like I learn in my room, and sometimes I learn till 4 or 5 in the morning. It's quiet, and then sometimes the kids come to if they have a bad dream, they come. Yeah. So the other day I'm learning this. The kid comes running in. Tati, there was a big eagle that came into the room. It's cute. It's so cute. A big eagle came into the room. So I hugged her and I said a mapil with her. And then I came to the door, I said the eagle is not there anymore. So I tucked her back into bed.
My daughter, she just started to. I think she's dreaming in the night. Did she have like
Why not?
bad dream?
That's possible, kids.
Some kids have dreams and dreams. Yeah.
All of a sudden she sees